All right. Hey guys. Hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Thank you all for joining or spending the time to join our webinar today. We are honored to have you here and talk about logistics. So my name is Ting, and I'm here with GoFreight today. We all know that in the past 3 years, the industry is like roller coaster, right? Especially among us in the freight forwarding industry out there. First, it was the shutdown on the shipper side, the shutdown on the consignee side, not to mention the port congestion, the lockdown, and that causing the shortage on the workforce on the trucker side or on the warehouse workers. And not to mention, one of the steamship line captain decided this is not just enough and decided to block the Suez Canal for about 3-4 days out of our chaos. So that being said, there's a lot of attentions and actually also capital that's being poured into the logistics industry right now, which seems to be an underlooked sector of the business area. And today, that's what we're trying to talk about it. I guess, first I was going to introduce our speaker, but I guess myself is a little more important. Here I have about 7 years of logistics here in the industry. And I joined GoFreight as the first account executive here. And then back in 2020 until now, I have switched over about more than 100 clients in the industry. And we also honored to have our keynote speakers, Daniel Herberts, who have over 45 years of logistics experience, and also Victor Chance, who actually was our actual users of GoFreight one time implementing the system into one of the companies. A little bit brief history background of GoFreight. We aim to provide efficiency and productivity in the logistic industry, starting here in the US and Canadian territories, and we're now looking for the global economies. Especially during the lockdown in the past few years, I had actually had a client who's very skeptical or concerned about adopting a new system while everybody's from the work from home orders. But it went full force with us and even cut down their office at the end and let people work hybrids as they realized the efficiency was being boosted. And now now with the economy downturns, we all hope we can get something better out of this, and that's why that's the main purpose of this webinar. We try to have people who share their actual lifetime experience in the industry and see what can we do to help on the hard time. Okay, so that being said, we will jump in to start our first discussion questions. So Daniel or Victor, from what your point of views, what are some challenges that the industry that are currently facing right now?
I'll go first. Hello, everyone. It's really nice to have you here, and thanks for spending the time with us. I may have to put myself on mute. I'm struggling a bit with COVID at the current time, so please forgive me. But it was really important that I was here to be here, so that's why I'm here. During COVID, the BCOs went on a just-in-case inventory as opposed to just-in-time. They overbought in many areas. They were concerned about port congestion, as you know, and things got a little crazy. So they bought and they bought and they bought just because they didn't know when they were going to get their cargo. And that all changed. That changed when the economy opened up. That changed when inflation went in place. That changed when the Fed in the US started to raise interest rates. And so, as you know, there was a dramatic drop off in cargo. In addition to that, a rate declined in all trades, most dramatically in the Trans-Pacific trade. And in some cases, almost 90% declination in the rates from the highest of the spot rate surge. My sense is that the overall less freight, which I anticipate that it will be, at least for the next 6 to 9 months. Retailers think that they're going to be growing by 6 to 8%, although the carrier rates, at least for this year, are expected to be at the pre-pandemic levels. It kind of is an anomaly that they're two different factors working together, but that's the information that I've read. However, the slowdown in this cargo doesn't mean that that your margins have to change. With the right tools, it provides you an opportunity for your staff to figure out ways to add value to your customers, provide different services, become more important to your customers, and give them every reason to continue to use your services. Victor, any comments?
Yes, echoing to what Daniel's mentioned, logistic industry by itself is extremely cyclical, meaning the supply of capacity is always trying to catch up to the changes in demand. So with the right tools, logistic manager will be able to foresee or make better forecasts to what necessary changes they need to take and according to the demand. Therefore, you can better manage your supply of capacity and have a better visibility in what to forecast. So that is one of the biggest point of digitizing your freight onto a single database. And this is what GoFreight is trying to do and what we're trying to offer our services upon of.
Understood. So I guess a lot of things circle back around digitalizations, a little more information become available will always help. Well, that being said, I mean, right now still though, I mean, I know right now is still a harsh time for all the freight forwarders, operation or small business out there. So I guess what the question will be in this economic downturns right now, how does really the digitalization really help the logistic operator on the day-to-day jobs?
Basically, it streamlines your processes. And you're probably thinking to yourself, gosh, what do I want to streamline my processes? I've got these folks that I need to pay. I don't want to reduce my staff. Those are really hard decisions to make. But it drives efficiency. And with that efficiency, it also automates the workflow, and it provides your team and your customers with better information. What that does is that it frees up time for your staff to do better things, to find ways to operate differently, find ways to add value to your customers. It provides you with the ability to do something different in terms of your competitors, and try desperately not to compete on price. Work on your margins and work on keeping your profit margins up. Add different services. Do something different. But I think that contrary to popular belief that, gosh, I don't want to start a new system, I don't want to do something, I don't want to digitize, I don't want to do these things. By doing that, you put yourself in a much better competitive position going forward by improving your staff's efficiency and also giving the top people in your staff the ability to start to add value to your customers in very different ways.
Yeah, and going into a little bit more, I think having a advanced data analysis system will enable logistics manager to actually look into each particular shipment in real time, which was never capable if you're doing paper filing. So having all the data necessary, including accounting data, onto a single platform will enable like deeper analysis and real-time analytics for logistics manager to better manage their resources. So you can catch the changes in the trend of the logistics industry better.
Thank you guys for the sharing. So I guess we all circle back around that a little boost of efficiency can give the operator a little more time to do other things around, and that will really truly should have beneficial. Try to get out of the old time thinking and do some more things to retain your clients. So I guess that circle back around the third question right here. We are here for you guys is that So right now, we all know that the rate drops. The profit margin potentially drops as well. As a potential for the profit margin in the freight forwarding industry drops, what are some approaches that a business owner can do in this hard time?
There's a lot of things that you can do. Number one, manage your margins better. I know Victor will speak more specifically about that. Understand your costs and consequently your rates to protect your margins. In order to understand that, you need to have that information in one spot, which is the paramount, one of the paramount things that's inside the GoFreight system. The other thing, a couple other things, is to choose your partners well. You know, that are forward-looking and digitally oriented. So you're getting this information, so there's no errors. So it's coming in smoothly and quickly. And then also a partner, and I'm sure that you know this already, but a partner that you can trust. Integrate your accounting into the TMS system for a whole lot of reasons. Credit control. So, you know, accepting shipments and doing business with somebody who owes you lots of money for a period of time, you know, maybe that's not a good idea. Proper reconciliation, so you can truly understand what they are. And partner effectiveness and the very specific costs. And then, as I had said before, find ways for your team to add value to your customer. These efficiencies are going to drive, you know, extra time for your people. In my experience, in some instances, the same number of people have handled almost 25 to 30% more cargo with the same number of people. But if there's less cargo, so what are you going to do about that? And so what are you going to do with these people? And find better ways to help them do better things for your customers. The other thing is that give them time to be creative. Give them time to think about, you know, what they're doing. And then also provide other services. AMS, if you're not providing that already. ISF, if you're not providing that already. Find these adjunct services that other people are charging for, and then you can indeed charge for it.
Yes, adding to Daniel, ISF is definitely one of the consideration, which is easy to be filed directly through GoFreight. And a lot of our customers found it to be very convenient, as all the shipments EDI onto GoFreight, and the operators are able to perform filing immediately. So that's one of the additional values revenue stream, which is able to conduct directly through the platform. And we look into building additional services that's able to file directly through GoFreight. So this is some of the areas that we are looking into.
Victor, did you want to go into margin management a little bit more carefully?
Yes, and on top into this particular area, on the dashboard of GoFreight, each negative profit shipment are able to be listed for the operators as well as the OP managers to see directly. So it can be very easily managed to go into details of each shipment. And this ultimately keeps all the shipment onto the positive territory, which is one of the most important area that OPs need to manage on right now.
So I guess we're focusing a lot of things are bringing the accounting back into the FMS, so it makes things a little more clear, and any potential add-on service that could be bringing to our valuable clients.
Correct. And one of the most important benefit of having an integrated shipment-based accounting system is so that one, we save our customers implementation cost, and a lot of the third-party accounting system out there are not tailored for logistics industry. So that in our industry, if you're talking about a consolidation shipment, each shipment can have potentially up to a couple hundred of invoices, if not most. And with a third-party accounting system, you may not be able to manage or to go into the details as quickly to identify some risks. So this is one of our the strength of GoFreight is that with these shipment-based management, we're able to capture some of the risk more accurately and immediately, I would say.
All the
I think
information.
another important factor is to help it manage your workflows. Automate your workflows as much as you possibly can, so that you're not redoing work or going backwards and forwards in terms of your work. And by doing that, you can also add more value to your customers and what they're looking for.
Yeah. So to Daniel's point, GoFreight offers a customizable to-do list to monitor each OP's work. So by having a monitor, the managers of the operators are able to check all the missing actions the potential operators missed, and each operator can come into GoFreight with a synced tracking system, which able to prioritize the work automatically. So these are some of the benefits which GoFreight offers that is able to help each individual OP to complete their job accurately and efficiently.
Thank you guys for all the good response. Now we actually have a little time, about 5 to 7 minutes left, that we have open-ended question. If any of our guests right now have any question to two of our professional here. I do have a few questions here listed already. I'm gonna have couples, but guys, please feel free to throw me more question if we could. So this question, I guess, can target to both of you guys. But do you guys have any example that you can provide of a freight forwarder or GoFreight customer that is more efficient, and exactly how they use time to differentiate their services?
Victor, do you want to go, and then I'll follow on?
Yeah, I can share my experience. During the pandemic, obviously at the beginning of the pandemic, freight forwarders faced a shortage of shipments, and in middle of the pandemic, we saw a surge of import into the United States, and myself experienced a capability to process 2 to 3 times more shipments with utilizing GoFreight. And during the period, one of the most biggest change which I've experienced is the embedded tracking engine. All of a sudden, the ETA would sync automatically, update by itself, and that itself shortens approximately 1 to 2 hours of my time every day, just to process and sorting out the shipments. So I would say it wouldn't be able to achieve if I were to do paper filing as in the past. So this is one of the technology, or one of the most beneficial aspect in having a digital freight system nowadays.
I can only give you experience from my past lives. One of the companies that I worked for, by implementing a digital system, was actually able to improve their productivity by 37%. Now the question is, what did they do with those extra people? They did exactly what I said before, was that they started to add value to their other customers and increase their overall footprint. They were able to keep all their customers and add customers going forward. It's pretty dramatic.
Thank you for sharing this true lifetime experience of what you guys are seeing right now in the real markets. I do have another question here for us. It's actually, so this one is actually targeted to sorry. So the quotation. So the last time, according to this guest, the last time he checked GoFreight, we were working on the quotation modules that shows cost, revenue, and the profit for each quotations. Do we have any updates on that at the moment? I guess Victor will be better for this one.
Yeah, our product team is going to look into this particular area this year, and it is one of our initiative that we're taking this year to improve our rate to quote to book workflow. So hopefully within the near future, we will provide updates according to this particular area.
I do have this one little last question that's kind of targeted Daniel. This guest is saying they're using CargoWise right now and they're not so happy with it. So you want to ask Daniel what would be the benefit of switching to GoFreight? I guess he saw your little introduction there. And I'm sorry to throw you under the bus.
CargoWise is a great system for the right person and for the right company. As you know, it's complex. It's not necessarily complicated, but it's complex. And it doesn't suit all freight forwarders. I mean, it's a wonderful company. I loved working there. But at the same time, I think there are some difficulties. The GoFreight system, from my experience working as a consultant with GoFreight, is that it's very simple to use, very easy to start. The ramp up period is relatively short. The customer support is very strong. And so those are all things, and it's personal customer support as well. So those are all things that I think speak volumes to the GoFreight system for the right freight forwarder. I wouldn't say, speaking honestly, that GoFreight would be a great system for a company like DHL, but certainly for the right customer, it's absolutely the right way to go. Any follow-up question to that? I'd be happy to respond. Ting, any follow-up question on that?
Not at the moment. I'm not seeing. So we do have a little last time for last question. If anybody have anything. Oh, actually, well then I myself actually have a question for you guys. So what are you guys, so after, in the year of 2023, what would you guys think will be the most important pieces for a freight forwarder to retain their clients, or anything that could secure the clients, anything that could make a life, that's what the logistics industry, right, is a lifelong relationship. What do you guys think is the most important pieces right now for the 2023?
I think it's providing value-added information and value-added services, being creative with your customers, creating relationships that stick, understanding their business a little bit better, figuring out what makes them tick, what do they need to run their business. It's not going to be easy for them either. They're going to go through a bunch of wrinkles this year, especially. Inventory management is going to change. And they need information, they need data, they need to know where their cargo is. They need to understand what's happening in the marketplace. They need to understand what's happening at the ports. Everything that I've read, seems to think that some of the port congestion problems have been solved. I have my doubts. The port operators are good people. They're working very hard. But the reason why they've solved it is because the volumes are down. When the volumes come back, what's going to be the situation? So I think those are the kinds of things that you need to be thinking about in terms of your customers. I would be very careful to cut your margins. Prices are going to go down because the ocean rates are significantly down, as you know. But add enough value that the margins your margins are going to stay the same. Try desperately not to compete on price, because that's a zero-sum game as you start down that road. And so you keep your customers, add more customers, by finding better ways to do it and becoming more digitized, becoming, with richer information, and then managing your back end a little bit better. That's going to be a big key piece in managing margins, because unless you know what your costs are, and you've got a good, accurate idea of your costs, write down to all the costs associated when that cargo gets delivered, and also your profit margin sharing with your partners, and being sure all that's accurate. Not having to do double data entry, not having to do journal adjustments. All those types of things are going to make you better, and consequently give your folks the time to make your customer relationships better.
And adding on top of that, I would definitely try to be more engaged with the overseas partners, as a lot of supply changes will take place throughout this year. So be engaged with your overseas partners to understand the change from the origin until the destination, and allocate the proper capacity to do the work that you need to foresee to come into your pipeline.
All right, I guess we focusing, bring back to people's business. That's what our industries are. And sorry, guys, I see we have like 3-4 more questions, for example, tariff or CRM in the systems, and we're taking down your questions. And since you guys are coming in with email, we'll definitely get back to you with some of the questions. But unfortunately, with our limited time constraint today, I'll try to wrap up here today. But we do actually have our next session. That'll be coming in the beginning of February. So please look up at your the emails that we'll be sending out. And also, so again, I think what we're trying to conclude today was we realized that this is still a people's business, and we're trying to boost more efficiencies and streamline the process, and hopefully the forwarder will have more time to focus on their clients and have the customer retention be a little easier to access for them. Again, I'm seeing flooded of questions that coming in. Thank you guys all for the support. I guess we can pick maybe a last little question here, just so we have a minute here. That is asking, so to maximize margins, what will be a good choice for the forwarder to implement these days?
I think understanding your costs certainly is critical to doing that, and then also being sure that you get the most up-to-date buy rates in your system, and that's buy rates for everything. That's for air, ocean, and also the land piece, and tracking those carefully. And so I think that having that data, and I know that GoFreight has the ability to do that. I know that the costs are associated with it, the margins are associated with it. So if you take a peek at the GoFreight system, it gives you those tools to be able to do that instead of guessing. Instead of at the end of the shipment, all of a sudden holy cow, I was supposed to make X amount of dollars, and now I'm making certainly less than X.
Thank you. That's from Chuck from our guest. I'm sure that he'll be coming to our next session. He's still throwing a lot of questions to us right now. Again, guys, right now time is up, and thank you so much for joining in today. And feel free to leave us a contact information. We'll be reaching out to you guys again for our next webinar and share more valuable information to you guys.